There's no stopping Rocio.
Absolutely, and it was interesting to watch the way he was attacking free practice, because he went out late in there, did a really good lap, but he then abandoned it and hit it. And clearly the whole focus was on just getting the feel of the car right. Didn't have to do anything else in his housekeeping, but knew exactly what the plan was. Did one lap to put him fastest, that then in turn gave him that free ride on the outlap in the first part of qualifying, and went fastest. Now he's got to do it all over again. Now the pressure is on a little bit, and look, it's a lot more racy early doors as everybody jams there for track position.
It's a bit more immediate, isn't it? We've only got 15 minutes for this, so getting track position was absolutely vital. And once again, look how committed this lap is going to be. This is just the outlap for Rocio, and the car moving around on the braking for Rocio just shows the commitment in the early part of the session, which worked well for him in Q1. And you see also he was flashing the lights to try and get that track position. The one he was forwarded when he got Q1 underway, rather like that position. He's got it once again, clear track.
Sean Tong going after him then, so Hyundai versus Honda. And we're going to have 12 qualifiers, but only 11 cars for this part of the session. Yet to get to the end of second one, but anyway, the 11 that we have now left the pit lane, and we'll, on the next lap, start to piece it all together. Rocio, interesting, even on the outlap, he's leaving nothing on the table.
He's just pushing on and pushing on.
Yeah, there's no, I'll get round to the Macau hairpin and then pull the trigger. He pulled it for the moment he left the pit lane.
It really was, yeah, and that's really brave, committed stuff, isn't it? Because the tyre's not fully up to temperature. That's one way of getting them up to temperature, but it could go wrong in the process.
Very true, very true. Right, so here comes Rocio. Sean Tong behind him has a very, very useful yardstick, doesn't he? Because he knows how quick Rocio is. He can measure his lap against the Hyundai ahead of him. It's going to be quick. And Sean Tong then now on this wide approach to our bend starts to use the full width of the road virtually to get the warmth into the tyres. So does Rocio, who now accelerates out of our bend and starts to fly back. And already 3 minutes are gone.
Pin pulls. So here we go. Rocio, top times in Q1. And now we're on to the first flying lap in Q2. Look how committed it is so early on. My goodness, how close to the barrier do those two want to go. So Rocio and Sean Tong, the top two. Sean Tong pulled back a little bit just to enable a little bit more space in front of himself and Rocio, which would suggest that he thinks that potentially he could go quickest on this lap, the fact that he wants a little bit of space, and does indeed go quickest on sector 1. So it's Sean Tong in car number 10, who has put in purple. Rocio, they're reasonably close as far as times in sector 1 are concerned, but 0.3 of a second between the two of them. Sector 1.
Right, so Sean Tong quicker than anybody in the first sector, as you look there at Wong Tian Kwan, or Kelvin Wong, who is now third fastest. So that Cupra, despite having had its big slide in the early parts of the session, Kelvin Wong, very experienced driver from Australian GT racing through the Macau Touring Car Championship to Tcr Asia, so knows what he's doing. And already putting himself then into the mix.
So Rocio has responded to Sean Tong going quickest, overall quickest in sector 1, because Rocio went overall quickest in sector 2, briefly overall quickest in sector 3, but now Sean Tong has responded. So yeah, I reckon Sean Tong thinks this one might be on. He dropped back a little bit at the start of the lap to give a bit of space between himself and Rocio, and with 2 purple sectors, Sean Tong looking pretty useful here. That is the top 2 in order as they make their way down from the Macau hairpin down through Black Sands Fisherman's Bend and then onto our bend. That will be the conclusion of the first flying lap, and they're not going to get that much time, are they? Once we complete this first flying lap, 9 minutes and 40 seconds of the session remain, Q2 well and truly underway up towards the conclusion, and the first flying lap for Lo Si-ho, car number 1, across the line, and it is Lo Si-ho with a 2:33.010. Sean Tong, what's the gap? 0.4 of a second, so 4 tenths.
Shows, doesn't it, also now that Sean Tong perhaps was also holding something in reserve. He did enough to get in.
A set of new tyres?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And maybe even there's another set for a second run in this, depending on how they played it. You'd ideally like to keep a brand new set for race 1. Maybe not so much for race 2, because if that's the reverse grid, you might struggle to get through the traffic and there could be a waste. So perhaps if you qualify well on a good set, keep a new set for race 1 and then use a used for race 2 if you're on that reverse grid in your 5th row or back. But let's see, because Sean Tong has already gone on this next lap, 7 tenths quicker than Lo Si-ho in the first sector. Big quiver under braking there for number 22, the Lincoln Co. of Yan Chuang, which did get round the corner, but it looked a bit skittish for a minute.
Someone else is in the picture as well now. Lee Kar-hae, who is currently 5th, has just put in the purple on sector 1, 26.2.
And there he is, look, going up the hill out of San Francisco. So the blue and white Audi of the Hong Kong driver looked good. He's done a personal best in sector 2. Lo Si-ho's 2:33 remains the gun time. 8 minutes to go.
So, Si-ho, not even a personal best on sector 1, not even a personal best on sector 2, briefly an overall best on sector 3, then taken away by Sean Tong, who is pushing on here. Let's just compare these lap times. So, Sean Tong is on a really good lap here. Car number 10, currently 2nd, is 4 tenths of a second behind the quickest time for Lo Si-ho. So, let's now monitor what the time screen is going to tell us about this lap for Sean Tong. Looking at the 27 car of Lee Kar-hae, currently 6th place, personal best in sectors 2 and 3, overall best in sector 1, and that is the car that we need to focus on. That said, not even a personal best in sector 4. So this is Sean Tong, currently in 2nd place, closing up on the back of Lo Si-ho.
Although Lo Si-ho doesn't look to have been quite as competitive.
No.
He breaks the beam, and Sean Tong goes quicker, 2:32.864. That was about a second faster than Lo Si-ho's equivalent lap, but I wonder now whether Lo Si-ho has just turned up the wick. So he had a push lap, slightly relaxed lap, and then he's going to go again.
It did rather look as if Sean Tong, the thing that gave me the idea that he thought he could go quickest in this session, although all drivers do, but he gave himself a bit of gap between himself and Lo Si-ho, and that was saying, no, I think I need it, I need this. This car is good, it's going very well, and it's not best with a 26.8, but a 2:32.8 is the time they're aiming at now, and is held by car number 10, Sean Tong.
Now, Lee Kar-hae up to 4th. Yan Chuang in the Lincoln Co has gone 3rd, which is good. That's number 65, Henry Lee Jr., and his Honda has done what? It's dropped to 7th in the times. And 5.5 minutes to go now.
And we are therefore about to go into the final third of this 15-minute Q2 session. And I'm not going to say anything yet, but they have been able to run this these first 2/3 of the session without interruption.
You can go on.
That's all I said. That is all I said.
Right. Lo Si-ho is on a lap of 2 personal bests here. And in contrast, because he got a little bit close to the wall there, Sean Tong has backed off slightly. So he might feel he's done enough. Lo Si-ho is still charging, although he's not been able to go purple. So oddly, despite all the energy put in at the start of the session, is he going to be mugged for pole in the end? Possibly. Comes through Black Sands now, then on that run down towards the very, very fast right of Fisherman's Bend. This third of the lap, there aren't really many not fast corners, but again, he's right up against the wall, almost skims it there. And that possibly, not deliberately, fired him to the other side of the road just because the trajectory forced him so to do, not necessarily by choice. This is our bend. up towards the timing line. So a 2:32.8 to beat, and that lap for Lo Se-ho is a 2:33.3. He can't do it. He's got another shot though. He's got certainly one, maybe even two more laps here.
And he's got nice clear track in front as well, hasn't he, once again? So Lo Se-ho continues on his way. Top the times in free practice 1, top the times in Q1.
Sean Tong in the pits. I was about to say he's been a long time through sector 5, but he's backed it right off. That was why.
3:50 left on the clock for Q2.
I'm not sure he's going to go back out.
I'm not sure he is. I think that's it. 2:32.8 is the time to aim for. And Sean Tong, car number 10, in pit lane. Ryan Wong as well in pit lane, 2 cars in pit lane. Ryan Wong in car number 93 in 10th position.
And Chan Weng Tong, number 42, has just gone up to 3rd, another of the Audi drivers. So here, Lee Kar-hei is flattering to deceive a little bit. We keep thinking he's about to deliver. He's doing absolutes occasionally, but he's only 5th.
And on the previous lap, we put in the overall best of this session in sector 1 as well. It remains in 5th place, no change in position. A change in position on that last lap for Chen Chang, and with a time of 2:36.051.
Okay. So with Paul Poon not being able to take part, 11/12ths of the entry have all done a time. 42 going through is 3rd, Chan Weng Tong, but he's slower again within the 1st sector of this lap. So no improvement coming this time for the regular TCR Asia racer. Behind Yan Chuang in the Link & Co. He just gets on with it. He doesn't really draw attention to himself, but he's still looking very racy, Yan Chuang, and has done 2 personal bests on this lap alone. And there is time enough at least to start another lap if drivers need it. Now, how is Lo Se-ho? Not in sectors 1, 2 and 3. Slower, slower, slower.
No, this is going to be quite a decisive session for Sean Tong. That was really impressive the way this session was attacked really from the pit lane. Really thinking about what to do and where to position the car and what the tactics of the session were going to be, and it looks like they may well be paying off.
It's encouraging, isn't it, for the races? Because at one point it looked like Lo Se-ho was going to be so far ahead. Yeah. What we now have is not only him not far ahead, but he's not even ahead. He's a 10th down on Sean Tong, and it's going to offer us a real battle, I think, going into the races tomorrow. Right, this is Yan Chuang. 4th at the moment, 4th at the moment. Is he going to be an improver? Goes up to 3rd, does he? He does. So 2:35.394.
That's impressive, that. Yeah, so 2:35.394. 1 minute and 12 seconds on the clock remain. But the Link & Co. into 3rd place. Impressive stuff, that. You said it was doing it almost by stealth, didn't you? And that was really pretty impressive. Personal bests in 4 out of the 5 sectors around the gear circuit here at Macau.
Now that's Chan Weng Tong, who's backed out of it because he isn't going to go again. Lo Se-ho was pitted, so even though he could have started another lap, he's realised that he's just not quite got the pace of the Honda of Sean Tong.
By 1/10 of a second, 0.146 of a second, the gap between 1st and 2nd. I think this sets us up rather nicely for an exciting race. They will race tomorrow, 9:05 in the morning. That's a wake-up call for everyone. 9:05, and it will be a 9-lap race for TCR Asia. That's their first of 2 races.
It is indeed. And I suspect Lo Se-ho's doing a bit of head-scratching now. So, what do you mean I'm not fastest?
Hang on.
But it was all going to plan. But, yeah, Sean Tong has done a great job there. And as I said earlier on, although he does have lots of touring car knowledge, he's not somebody that you associate with it perhaps as much as GT or one-make sports car racing.
Please, may I say something?
I know what you're going to say, so please do in your best Alan Hyde voice.
Thank you very much. Checkered flag is out, and the first session of the day without red flag interruption is complete. Q2 for the TCR Asia Challenge. Is that okay?
Was? Yes. More, please.
Yeah, we'll have a few more of those. Sean Tong takes provisional pole position, car number 10, and He's going to be very happy with that work.
See on the back of the team clothing, come on baby, what he did. So thumbs up Sean Tong.
He's got it on the car as well.
Yeah. There is the Link and Co.
Third.
Good effort by Yan Chuang.
Yeah, it was. Very impressive. I like the way you say that. He's doing it sort of undercover and impressive stuff. That. So too for Chan Wang Tong, who finished up in 4th place in car 42. But Lo Si Ho, you're right. The battle is on for tomorrow. Sean Tong, top of the times at 2:32.8, an advantage of 0.146 of a second around the gear circuit here at Macau. If you bear in mind it's a 6.1 kilometre circuit, that's pretty impressive stuff.
It is, isn't it? Well, there to the pit lane comes Yan Chuang, but Sean Tong has, as we've been saying, retaliated multiply against the gauntlet thrown down by Lo Si Ho, and it did look as though he was absolutely dominant in that, but when it mattered, Sean Tong able to respond, and respond he did in style. So he's the fastest.
And of course the other story about tomorrow, and we didn't mention this during the 15 minutes because there was plenty to talk about. Paul Poon was in the top 12, so got through to that, but of course now has qualified 12th.
Yes, so we've got plenty of work to do.
A damaged car, yeah.
In both races.
Yeah.
So Road Sport Challenge coming up next, and Sean Tong the fastest then in TCR Asia Challenge Q2 from Lo Si Ho and Yan Chuang, with Chen Wang Tong 4th, Li Ka-hei 5th, Yu Heng 6th, Zheng Qiong ahead of Kelvin Wong, who fell away, Henry Lee, and then Ryan Wong behind him, Deng Baowei 11th, and the one that couldn't take part in Q2 with his damaged car, Paul Poon. And that sets us up nicely for the qualifying race, the qualification race for the TCR Asia Challenge tomorrow morning.